Hi. So yesterday I didn't manage to finish what I was trying to say with the first video of I am. My first two I ams were I am vulnerable and actually let me say I am vulnerability. By using vulnerability, I am tapping into the unlimited potential of being vulnerable. Actually, this whole I Am series was inspired by one of Iyanla's videos, YouTube videos. If you have the chance, you can just watch it. It might help. So anyway, the other one was I Am Fearless. So when I was talking about vulnerability, what I really was trying to get to was okay, I spoke of what I was when I was a child and me trying to get back to that and accepting that. What I believe is okay, there's this quote that I like that I saw on the internet some time back, which says, inherent in having the desire is the mechanics to its fulfillment. So to me, this means that any passion that anybody has, you already have the inbuilt mechanics to fulfill that passion. So I genuinely believe that when we're younger, we are clear about who we are. We are our most pure and our most clear about who we are and about what matters to us and about our purpose. And I think some of the tools that God gives us is stuff like our personalities and our natural talents. I think those things are the things that come in packaged with us, sort of, to help us fulfill what we're supposed to do. So when I was referencing to my personality, it's one of the things that I think the naive part when I was saying that I was too nice and thought it was a weakness and all that stuff. What it came, the reason why I sort of detached from my feelings was that I felt too much. Like I felt too much. When I was a kid, I would watch TV and see kids suffering somewhere, and I would literally feel physical pain from just seeing, people suffering or, all those things. So instead of, unfortunately, the older we get, it's sort of like strips down. It strips off those things that we naturally are born with, because then there's different expectations, there's different goals that are put within us that maybe do not align with our purpose. So maybe the personality, your natural part of you doesn't have a place anymore, so you sort of have to strip it off. But I think for anybody who's struggling to find out who they are and who they want to be and their purpose and all that, and because stuff like a purpose, I don't think you find it. Well, you do find it, but you find it within you. No one comes to you and tells you, although there are some people who have that insight, who can see something in you and say, okay, I think you have this talent, and then maybe it sparks something inside of you. But it's something that's already inside, and if you're looking for it, you're only looking for it inside. So my personality, when I talk about vulnerability, my being vulnerable, chopping, my being vulnerable is a strength in that it has allowed me to be able to be creative in the art of poetry. I am able to connect emotionally to whatever I'm experiencing, emotionally, immensely and intensely, to the extent that I can put it on paper. Same thing, I can connect to somebody else going through something emotionally and make it my own and put it through paper. So that characteristic of myself that I thought was a weakness is actually one of the things that helps me to be creative and to communicate in a way that no one else can communicate, in a way that's unique to me, even though there's a lot of poets out there with every talent that is natural. Even if there's people with similar talents, nobody can do it the same way you can do it. So when I state that I am vulnerable or I am vulnerability, to me it's natural power that invigorates me to become the creative person that I am. It is the strength that helps me to be who I am, to be true to myself. When I write, I feel like I am my most authentic and my most truthful. When I'm walking down the street, it's a bit difficult. Even when I talk now, I don't think it's as authentic as it is when I compare it with my writing. So yeah, I had to clarify that I am vulnerability, or I am vulnerable part, so that for whoever wants to do this I am challenged to themselves or to share with me. I want you to look at the power that's inside that characteristic that you're claiming to be. So I am fearless now comes in, vulnerability comes with a lot of fear. Vulnerability comes in when you are afraid to show who you are. There's a lot of strength in that imperfection. I don't know how to explain it, but I know vulnerability and fearlessness are almost the opposite. But to me, they are so similar, because, in the cracks, that's where there's growth. And in the cracks, that's where you become fearless. So, that part of me that is not afraid to jump in untested water naked is that fearless part of me. Obviously, I've got fears. I obviously have fears about all sorts of things, even for the projects, even this project that I'm doing. I have that part of me that wants to be recognized, and that wants people to say, oh, wow, you're doing a good job, and when I don't have enough people giving me the recognition, it creates a bit of fear and doubt in me that, okay, am I really doing the right thing? Am I doing something that's worth it? So it creates that fear and doubt. But then that part of me that keeps coming back in front of this camera, that keeps writing even when I have one like on Facebook, that's the part of me that's fearless. And that part of me, I hope that it shows itself more, it manifests more in my life. But all I have to do is just take that one step, and that one step is a fearless step. Yeah. So I think, the more you are true to your intention, the thing that you're passionate about, the more you're true to that, the more fearless you get. It doesn't matter anymore what anybody else thinks. What matters is what you think. Do you believe in your dream enough on your own to carry it through on your own? If you don't, then it's not a big enough dream. You have to be able to be fearless enough to just have faith in yourself. So that second part of I am, that I am fearless, is something that I'm still cultivating within me. But I do see it there, and I'm taking each step, each fearless step every day. Every time I do something towards this cause, it's a fearless step. Every time I do something towards my passion, it's a fearless step. So that is the second I am. It's an unbound, unlimited fearlessness that I think will be able to carry me to places I have never imagined. I think the other thing, when you are following a passion, because passions and dreams are very specific. Some of the dreams, although you might want to be a singer, like we've got a million other singers in the world, it's going to be specific to you how you want it to be done. So it's going to be unique, it's going to be on your own terms, so it's going to be creative. And for you to succeed, you cannot be a copycat, pretty much. So there's a lot of fear that comes with that comes with following your passion, that comes with following your dreams. But I love what Prince E or something like that, what he says in this YouTube video of his called Everybody Dies But Not Everybody Lives. That it's a prerequisite. Falling and failing is a prerequisite of greatness. So, and besides, nobody is really counting. I mean, people can see that, okay, Ningi has just failed at this, or they laugh at you, or they're just not as supportive as you want them to be. But that's a prerequisite for anything that's going to be a new creation. Nobody's going to see it the way you see it. So you have to be fearless enough to see it clearly in your mind and to go for it no matter what. So those are the first two I ams, my I ams. I'm vulnerable, sensitive, and that makes me a poet. And I'm fearless, and that will keep me going in this project that I'm doing. So I will record more, and let me see. You know what? The stuff I wrote and what I said are two different things, actually. But okay, I can't read all that stuff. But I think I've said the main points that I wanted to say on my first two I ams. And another thing I wanted to say was, I mentioned something about my skin, my anxiety and whatnot, and it burning. I wanted to say to someone that everything, I believe strongly now at this point in my life, I know that everything works for my good. Everything is working towards bringing goodness in my life, no matter what disguise it comes in. So the way I look at this anxiety disorder that I have, or my burning skin sensation, is that I try to run away. It's sort of like what's his name, the one was swallowed by the fish in the Bible. Okay, now I'm showing my illiteracy when it comes to religion. But running away from my emotions, which is a core of who I am and a part of my creativity, only I am meant to keep in touch with my feelings. I was created to be vulnerable. I was created to be sensitive. I was created to be like that for a bigger purpose. which is beyond just me worrying about other people taking advantage of me. So running away from that part of me was as good as denying myself, if that makes any sense. So I am grateful for the way my skin feels, because now, since I've lost that ability to stay in touch with my feelings sometimes, now I have an extra indicator of how I'm feeling. So it helps me now, having that knowledge that the burning skin is not like really a physiological type of disease, but something that's psychological. It has helped me stay aware of my feelings. The very thing I was running away from came back to me in a different way. So I think there are some people who are going through difficulties or going through a tough time because they're trying to run away from who they are, who their essence, and sometimes God has to sort of give you a few slaps to bring you back on track. So I believe deeply that anything that happens in anybody's life, I don't care what state it comes in, what disguise, whether it's the worst thing that has happened to you in the world, anything that happens to you is happening for the good of your purpose and your life. And the only thing we need to do is listen and pay attention. Pay attention to your inner compass, to your feelings, to your passions, to your dreams, to the things that make you tick. Just pay attention to yourself, and you'll be amazed at the guidance that you already have within, to the questions and the thousands and millions of questions that you have about why things are happening a certain way in your life. The answer is already there. That's what I believe. So I will just round up this. I'll call this part 1B for my I Am series, and then I'll be back with the next 2 I Ams, or the next 3, or whatever. I don't have really a system to this, but the next that comes to mind. Thank you. Bye.